Hello, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews, and today we're looking at two videos. This one will cover the recent chapter of 7 Deadly Sin, chapter 188 I believe it is. Yeah, chapter 188. So before getting into it, just to give you an update on my day, the video is releasing a little bit later than I'd anticipated. Had a few things that wanted to do today and they took up a lot of the time. You're probably noticing in around about here behind me there is an addition to the frame, and that's mainly a shelf and that covers my books and some of the comics that I'm collecting at the moment. It'll also be a place where I will start collecting and putting more of my manga. So I'm organising the room a little bit. Once it's all done, I'll do a video on it and you can have a look see. But without further ado, let's get into the review. So point number one initially threw me off a little bit, mainly down to the wording. I thought it was a mistranslation, but essentially it was a conversation between Monspier and Derriere, and they're just confirming what's going to happen next. Effectively what they're saying is Grey Lord and Fraudrin is going to take care of the fodder, which for some reason includes Ban, which for some reason they think he's fodder, but I'm sure he'll prove himself. Maybe this is to do with their curses and how he matches up with Ban's, but we'll have to wait and see. And they specifically mention Escanor and them being on full alert should he turn up, and rightfully so, because he worked Esterosa bad and he dealt him a good one there, and if Esterosa is dead, they're another one down. So an interesting little point to bear in mind, the fact that they're taking Escanor seriously but they're not taking Ban seriously. Maybe again, like I said, it's to do with how they match up, but you never know. Anyway, point number one. Point number two is the continuation of that conversation between Monspier and Derriere, and basically Derriere gets a haircut, nothing major. But what's funny after that is Monspier tries to get to wear a skimpy dress that normally Elizabeth would wear, and he gets a lump in the head for it. So a little bit of banter, a bit of the light-hearted side of the Ten Commandments. So we get to see a lot more of their personality, so to speak. Much personality that you'd get for a demon, but you know what I mean. And basically their conversation, or they get interrupted basically in a way. So they see or feel something in the distance, and we find out that it turns out to be Mama Pork, Hawk, Elizabeth and Zartros who enter the scene. And I guess the idea behind that is she made a promise, Elizabeth did, to Meliodas to continue the fight, and she's fulfilling that promise. Point number three. Point number three is interesting because right off the bat you see that Elizabeth has the goddess eye in full effect, which looks like to have the same symbol as the amulet or earring that Hawk keeps. The bludgy demon kind of turns up, the kind of fat one, and Zartros deals with him with the purge, takes him out. Then they get kind of seen by loads of other demons, and then Mama Hawk turns up and boom, she takes care of them. Even Hawk ends up eating some of the demons and transforming. How much power he gets from that, we don't know. How relevant that power is going to be, I don't know. It's always cool to see though, because it's a new power that we've seen that you can do. Now, this is all going well until two of the Ten Commandments come up and show what they can do, and it's Derriere and Monspier, and you know what's going to happen. That's going to be in point number 4. Point number 4. Derriere gets in the face of Elizabeth, literally within kissing distance. It's relatively awkward. Even got to a point where it looked like it was going to be one of those weird porno scenes. And it's kind of like Derriere's recognizing Elizabeth, and she's like, what are you doing here? And Elizabeth's like, I don't know who you are. So I'll touch on this in a second, but basically what happens is Zartros wants to get in there, but he's overwhelmed by the power, the force that these lot generate. But he doesn't care, he goes in anyway. So respect to that dude. He's a human, he might be strong for a human, and I believe he's probably about 200 times stronger than a human, something like that. He still isn't a match for any of the Ten Commandments yet. He gets 2-hit comboed, he gets a 1-hit combo attack, then he gets hit again, and just as he's going to go in, get hit again, she basically gets stopped by Elizabeth, whose power erodes Derriere's arm, and this is enough for Derriere to know who she is, and she goes full kind of demon mode on her arm and wants to go in for the kill. It gets stopped, but we'll touch on that in point number 5, the grand return. But there's 2 things to consider with this. Derriere recognized her, Elizabeth. Elizabeth didn't recognize Derriere. What this means is they've met before, probably from the whole previous reincarnation thing. So I think as Elizabeth gets reborn as this goddess kind of reincarnation, I think she doesn't hold those memories. I think it's more of a case of she holds the power, not the memories. And maybe as she gains those memories from previous lives, she may also gain more power. But they've met before, and I'm assuming it's when Meliodas betrayed the 10 Commandments and started the war. Speaking of Meliodas, the grand return, point number 5. He's back. So basically, when Derriere goes in for the attack, she gets a left body shot that bloodies her. I'm assuming it's to do with the full counter technique of Meliodas, because he is back. She never stopped believing, and he has returned. He does send Derriere flying, and then the next chapter is meant to be called the Hero Stand, which is all good. Exciting stuff, super excited about it. Can't wait to see the next week's. But there's things to consider. He's been gone for a while. Anarchy's been looming in the time. Here's a few things though. When we saw him in Purgatory, when was that? We're not really sure. Was that as soon as he supposedly died? Or was in the coma? Or was it recently? Because if it was when he originally got defeated, killed, put in a coma, whichever, then there's been at least a month or so, maybe more, where he's been fighting the Demon King, his father. Now we don't know the effect this has had. He seems normal, but has going to Purgatory changed him? I'm hoping it's made him a lot more powerful. I'm guessing that's what's happened. He has been rid of the curses that were afflicted on him, which is good. Esteros is out of the picture, so that's not going to affect him at least. Zeldris looks like out of the picture for the moment as well, so that's going to be interesting. But how much has he truly grown? For him to be the captain of the 7 deadly sins, he has to be at least stronger than Escanor. Granted, we haven't seen Escanor's full power, but they need to be on par in terms of destructive capability. Maybe not in strength, but in destructive capability they need to be up there comparably. So the fact that he's back is interesting, amazing. Is this going to be the demise of Montpierre and Derriere? They're both French, they sound and rhyme together, but do you think that's going to be the case? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoy this chapter and the hype that 7 Deadly Sins bring, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I greatly appreciate this. I try to give you regular reviews. Not always when I want them to, but I do get them out. So please show your appreciation and your support by subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Peace.